Well, speaking of honorable mentions, I should say stuff that could have been in my honorable mentions. Let me talk quickly about Promising Young Woman, right? I
Sure.
was hearing a lot of great things about it even before it was released theatrically. I think it was
Right.
theatrically on Christmas Day, right?
Right.
This is the debut feature from Emerald Fennell. She is a British actress, author, and well, a screenwriter and director, right? She
Right.
worked on season 2 of the series Killing Eve, which I haven't got around to watching as yet, right? There's not but praise about that, right? This essentially is a thriller, but it's also like a dark comedy as well, right? It stars Carrie Mulligan,
Okay.
Bo Burnham, who, well, the
Okay.
last time I mentioned him was, his directorial debut with Eighth Grade, which I enjoyed.
Yeah.
I know you had your
Yeah.
issues with it, but I enjoyed. I
No, I,
enjoyed.
I enjoyed it as well. It's just, my issues is more my personal issues, but it's not it has nothing to do with the quality of the material. It's good. It was pretty good.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It also features McGill Alison Brie, Laverne Cox is it as well.
Okay.
Jennifer
Okay.
Coolidge. Haven't seen
Okay.
her
I
in a
like it. I
while.
like. I like it. I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it.
It, it,
Okay.
it,
Yeah.
it has a solid, it has a pretty solid cast. It even goes as far as even having Alfred Molina make an appearance.
Okay. Okay.
What?
Good. All right.
You with
Yeah.
this? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But what it's about, right? It centers on the character of Cassie Thomas, right, who's played by Carrie. She lives with her parents, even though she's like 30 years old.
Right.
It's America, folks. So that's a thing, right?
Yeah.
She also works at a coffee shop, right? One of the well, technically she runs the place. That would be Laverne Cox's character, right? But
Right.
they chat and it's emotional support and all that kind of jazz, right? But essentially, we learn bits and pieces about Cassie, from the beginning going up, right? But what she does, she has this thing of going into nightclubs, right? And she would pretend to be drunk, and she would just wait for like a guy to just
Right.
leave his group
Right.
of
Yeah.
friends and
I saw this. I
take
saw
her
this with the
home and all
trailer.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I saw this with the trailer. I know the premise from the trailer.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Good.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to spoil too much from it though, but yeah, it's in the trailer pretty much, right? So
Right. Right.
she how to say she exacts her revenge on guys like those, right, who would
Right.
see this drunk woman and want to take advantage of her at their place, right?
Right.
So
Right. Right.
she does her thing, but it's never really said, never really specified what she does, right? But kind of like Uma Thurman Kill Bill style, she has a
Okay.
book where she kind of writes down the name of the people that she crossed basically now. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I
Right.
thought
Right.
that was pretty cool as well. I would say that yes, this show does borrow a little bit, just subtle, from Kill Bill Volume One and
Right.
Two,
Right.
right? And later on, you kind of understand that okay, the reason being is because her friend Nina, well, high school friend Nina, was raped, right?
Right.
During this event. I don't know to see what it is, and she seeks revenge on men who, just offer similar circumstances. You know what I mean?
Right.
Her being drunk and all that kind of stuff, right? So she eventually finds out the person who did the deed, right? And she goes around, she goes about this plan. She finds people who were involved, who probably knew about it. Well, she actually runs into a good old friend, played by Alison Brie, and they do something really clever here. Well, it's subject to discussion, right? But it's that
Right.
old argument of, oh well, if she wasn't that drunk or if she wasn't
Right.
in that place at that time, she wouldn't end up like that. I mean, I'm
Right.
just
Right. Right.
saying,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a
Kind
basic
of
argument, right?
insidious victim blading kind of thing going on. Yeah.
Exactly. But
Right.
once again, like it didn't happen to you. So who's you to see that, right? That's just my opinion. Um, but yeah, and through these encounters, she goes deeper and just in terms of find out exactly what happened, and then of course finding the perpetrator, right? But in the process now, she runs into an old college friend named Ryan Cooper, who's played by Bo
Right.
Burnham, right?
Right. Right. Right.
And he's like, well, he doesn't know about her path of revenge, basically, right? It's just like, oh well, we went to medical school together, and I thought that you were gonna make it big. Well, I'm a children's physician, but hey,
Right.
you're in a coffee shop, so what's going on? And well, eventually she opens up and they start a relationship, right? Well, even though she has a thing about guys, right? Which is understandable. And it's just really to see that conflict basically with her wanting to live this normal life, you know what I mean, with this
Right.
guy who seems to be okay, but at the same time, my friend, the guy who did deed to my friend, who by the way is the friend died actually, right? Well, that's
Right.
like months after the rape and whatnot, right? Um, he's still alive, right? So I want to seek my revenge, and I'll stop right there.
Okay.
So just to get the obvious out of the way, Carrie Mulligan doy pulls off, in my opinion, the best performance I've seen from her, like, period. And I haven't
Right.
seen much films from her, boy, but this
Yeah,
one
was
just
was he last thing I saw? Was he last thing I saw with her? Boy, that was really good.
she was,
She was in
well, she was in,
Black Mountain, right?
yeah, she was in inside Llewyn Davis, which was
Inside Llewyn
decent.
David, right? That is what I was
Yeah,
trying to remember. Right. Yes. Okay. That is what I was
yeah.
trying to remember. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
She was also in Drive as well. You know what I mean? Like, oh
Yeah,
yes,
but
well, the
I
last show,
barely remember.
uh,
I remember barely
yeah,
remember performance in that. Yeah, but yeah, go ahead.
that's the thing. And well, the last show I mentioned who appearing in actually was a movie called Wildfire, which was Paul Dano's directorial debut actually.
Okay, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Which by the way is available now on the Criterion Collection. I don't know
Okay,
why,
nice.
but it's there, so
Yeah.
cool. I could buy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, performance wise, boy, this is like the best I've seen though. And what I love about it is that like the script itself could have gone because at a point in time, like, well, this is leading up to and including the title sequence. I could have swear that they were going to go for this exploitation, revenge, rape, revenge, tribute vibe now. So you have to be 70s or grindhouse or like 80s schluckiness now.
Right.
But they have bits of it, but that's not the story that they're trying to tell, and that's not the world they're trying to create here, right? But I love that Carrie doesn't fall into that whole part where, like I'm just out for revenge and I don't care who gets in
Right.
my way. You know what I mean? There's a moral complexity to her. You know what I mean? Like she wants to
Right.
live her life, but
Because it's
she
not
had
some
to deal with shit now.
yeah, because it's not some straightforward I spit on your grave kind of situation, right? It's not
Yeah,
that. Right.
thank goodness it's not that, right?
Right. Right.
Yes, I am honestly not a fan of that movie. Well, the original one.
Right. Yes.
I haven't seen the remake, and I don't care to see the remake, right? But anyway,
Right.
but yeah. You know what I mean? She plays her role out the way how you'd expect someone to play to be there, like realistically. That's what I dug about it,
Right.
right? Also dug the moral complexity about it. 'Cause the one time, on the one hand, she wants to live this normal life, and I mean, there's this guy, and she's a little iffy, she's a little reluctant at first, but she goes along with it because eventually she has to move on. Her friends and family telling her you need to move on, you need to date and whatnot. She had to live a life. She's 30,
Right.
but at the same time, her friend died. This person got away, ting 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 ting, and this
Right.
is
Right.
I need to do this. I feel like I need to do this, right? But she doesn't go about it. I actually thought they were going to do this, and she doesn't go about it in like a Charles Bronson kind of way, Death Wish, walk around with a gun and pow, we just shoot random guys. It's not like that. That's not what they're going for. It's more like emasculation in a sense. Like she will go along with the guy taking her home and thinking, oh, she drunk, so let me just undress her and try a thing, and then she will kind of catch them off guard and yeah, just pretty much just mess them up, right? But more verbally than anything like that. Well, it is implied that she probably do other stuff, but it's never shown. And I like the fact that the movie isn't going for that uh exploitative kind of vibe, basically, right? Also, I really, really dug the supporting cast as well. Laverne Cox, when she's on screen, I thought that she was fantastic. She gave some great humor as well. I was expecting that from her. You know what I mean? Great humor. Also, Alison Brie, I dug her character as well, even though like what you see, you know what I mean? That's just so common, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bob Burnham, I thought that he was great as this romantic lead, you know what I mean? And even the Alfred Molina's appearance as well. I thought that was great. I don't want to see what he does, but it's very, very crucial. Um, Essentially, it is a thriller, it is a drama, but it is comedic at times, but just very dark, right? And I actually dug the dark humor in it. It doesn't go too far with it. Like it is a very serious issue, right? But
Yeah.
it plays though like it is kind of funny the way how she get back, how she gets back at these guys too, but also how it kind of backfires as well.
Right.
which leads me to, well, the last 15, 20 minutes of the show, which I would say would more or less divide audiences, right? Because I would
Okay.
say it doesn't play out the way how you'd expect. And one thing I love about the show in general is how unpredictable it is. You think,
Right.
oh, it's that whole revenge thing, so
Right.
everything is gonna play out the way you expect it, but no, not really. And I love that about the show. But the end in particular may feel like, oh, it just kind of pulls the rug from under you, and it didn't really get what you want, and
Right.
something happens. I don't want to spoil what it is, but it seems a little convenient. That's all I'll say.
Right.
But there's a twist before that which also comes off as convenient. But in terms of the story and what Emerald is trying to see, it makes sense too. It really does. It just really shows that at the end of the day, no one really is innocent when it comes to this thing.
Right.
So you
Right.
you understand where Cassandra's coming from. At the same time, the way how she's going about it is quite violent, quite brutal, and just insidious. But you understand why she would go that way and why she would look at guys in that particular way, or people who think, oh well, wrong place, wrong time kind of scenario. You
Right.
could
Right.
understand why she'd look at that, but the show itself doesn't stop to hammer these points in the head, right? So I really dug that. But yeah, other than that though, oh yes, I forgot to mention the direction was superb in this too. This and the cinematography. It has this, how to say, this sort of sugar coated look. Everything looks very, like, the colors pop a lot in this show.
Yeah.
Um, and for me, kind of adds to the world of this story here. Like, everything seems so syrupy sweet. You know what I mean, on the outside, but deep deep down, there's
Right.
some, like, just
It, well,
dark shit going on.
it's
So I
sounded
love
it's
that.
sounded like a movie at well, not really directly deal with the feminist angle per se, but the revenge angle. There's a movie a few years back called Blue Ruin, and that had a
Oh,
great
I've heard
like
of that.
yeah,
Yeah,
that had a great like, hey, this revenge thing might not turn out the way I wanted to kind of attitude about it. Like it's not something you should be doing, even though that's the moral impulse and it's a good storytelling narrative impulse. It's a story in your head, but like the movie like really goes out of its way to say you shouldn't really do that, and the realities of it is much more insidious than you think it is. But yeah, that
right,
is what
right.
I feel I might be getting from this. But I'll go give it a chance myself.
Yeah, yeah. I really, really recommend you do.
Right,
I would say though, like, no, it's not the best, film, or in this genre, or tackling this certain issue and whatnot. But
right,
it tells a story. I felt that it told its story very well. I would say, as far as gripes do, the pacing could be a little slow at times, and oftentimes it could lean towards different styles. Like, it'll give you different moods. You know what I mean? So when you think it's going to be dark at this point, or just moody at this point, sometimes they might, like, literally go really whimsical, you know what I mean, really lighthearted. That, well, there's a particular point where it does, and I know for some people it might be like, okay, but this is like halfway to the show though, so what
right,
what going on here? But I love how that kind of flips over and you realize, oh, wow, okay, right.
right,
You know what I mean?
right,
So it works there. So people might complain about the tonal inconsistency in some parts, but and then also to that ending, which I say will make or break. But for me, I actually dug the ending, what they were going for. Just a little conveniences here or there. I mean, like realistically, things wouldn't play out that way, but because of the story being told, it's like, okay, I see what you're doing there.
right.
So yeah, to me it works, right? But last thing I want to say before I get to reading, also don't go in expecting Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, right? Yes, it does borrow a bit from it in terms of the book, and the list of people that she wants to get rid of, or more like names that she adds, and she does the whole um well, more like the not the well more like the numerical five kind of thing, the four lines, and then the just the cross to make it five. She does that
Right.
kind of thing, then they use it thematically, where, like, just the process that she goes about to seek revenge is like that now. Like, process wise now, it's very reminiscent of Kill Bill with the chapters and all that kind of stuff. Even some of the dialogue and the way how characters talk is very Tarantino inspired in a sense, but
Right.
I felt it work in terms of, like, what the story was trying to say.
Right.
And yeah, in terms of the subject matter, I think that this is something that will make you think, even if you might buy into the end and all that much. I still think that It's just the perspective of something like this, and that's why I really felt like the show Neil, like just the how people view situations like that differently, right? So yeah, rating wise, I'll give this a strong 4 out of 5, man. I mean, it
Right.
isn't perfect,
Nice one.
but I still really dug it. This would have been an honorable mention for sure. So it should have been on people's top tens. This would, if
Right.
this probably would have been like in the between 6 to 10, basically. Not a top five for sure, but Carrie Mulligan's performance alone is worth checking out. Though I will be so happy if she gets an Oscar nom for this. I know
Oh,
she going up. I know she will go up against Frances McDormand for Nomadland,
right.
which by
Which
the
I
way I'm
didn't
going
see
to be
yet. Yeah.
reviewing very
Right.
soon. I'm
I
waiting.
didn't see
Don't
that
worry.
yet.
Don't worry. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I have a feeling that yeah. So
Well,
it's
I'm more excited for that because of Chloe Zhao, not so much of Francis McDormand.
oh yeah. I really want to see because we love the writer,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Right. That
Yeah,
was
I really
hard.
want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, really love that film, and I feel I'm really gonna love Nomadland. But yeah, like I say, what I mean, this is definitely worth checking out. Though, just don't go in expecting this thing to be some graphic gore fest, right? But it is dark. It is funny when it needs to be, but it does touch on really serious issues that need to be discussed. And the feminist angle on it works as well. I know some people might be like, well, why it had to be like this for? You know what I mean? Blah, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. But oh gosh,
Right.
like, come on. It kind of has to be at the same time. You know what I mean? So I dug that. And well, for me, I would say it doesn't lean too heavy on that. I like that
Right.
everyone pretty much is fleshed out. So some people might go in worried that all the men in the show are gonna be bad or scums and scumbags and all that, but not really, right? But anyway,
Right.
but yeah, definitely check this out. I hope that this gets at least an Oscar nom. Maybe for Carrie's performance alone. And last thing I'll say though, don't let the dark subject matter fool you. It is surprisingly accessible. Like you could actually sit down, watch this, not
Right.
get too freaked out by it. You know what I mean? Not get too turned off by it. You know what I mean? You can kind of watch it and see things play out, but it's not as dark or as brutal as you might think it is. But still, subject matter is deep enough for you to keep you hooked. Now. So yeah, by all means, I definitely recommend checking out Promising Young Woman.
Okay.
All right, so a show that I didn't get around to seeing,
Right.
Shadow in the Cloud, which actually is one of the first releases of 2021, to be honest. So, yeah, Ricardo, take it away. What was Shadow in the Cloud about?
Oh boy. Okay. So it's Chloe Grace Moretz as Maud. She has a kind of a mission to get herself across the Pacific from, well, I can't remember, she's in Australia, New Zealand, but she has to get herself across the Pacific to, well, not across the Pacific, but up. I forget where exactly, but basically they had to worry about Japanese pilots, so it's the Pacific.
Right, so
And they had,
so it's World War II stuff, right?
yeah, it's World War Two, right?
Right.
World War Two era, right? And what they do is they play on the whole. Well, the trailer reveals this. They worry about, well, the idea of gremlins, right? And basically that's the premise. So they had to escape, they had to travel, she have to worry about these pilots who kind of douchey and sexist. But then she have a secret package, and you're not sure what that package is. You find out why, and then a gremlin attacks the plane, and it's like, where does the gremlin thing come from? Not sure, right? But it's a gremlin, and it's basically the World War II, Roald Dahl gremlin thing, right? If you know what that is, and
Right.
or if you're that episode of Twilight Zone, right, with William Shatner and John Lithgow, right?
Of
That,
of course, in Terror at 10,000 feet,
right,
classic,
right.
classic
It's
episode. Yeah.
effectively that. It's that's the shadow in the cloud, effectively, and it's her having to, well, deal with all this bullshit and having to fight the gremlin, but she have a whole ulterior reason and motive for her transport and who she connected to and why, and that's the story. This was a big disappointment, right? I
Oh
didn't hate it.
wow.
I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was complete dog shit, but it was an incredible, an incredible squandered opportunity. Really wasted potential. You know what this movie remind me of? It remind me of, remember, a Day in the Hand movie some years back, about 2, 3 years ago, where he played like a doctor or something like that. No, it was like a corporate guy. So yeah, this is basically a cure for wellness all over again, right? It's you have a young
Yes, I sure they
right,
had so much potential, but they just
right,
squander it in the worst ways. Yeah.
right. So you have all of this, everything is good. Sound design is brilliant, special effects looking decent. Um, cinematography looking good, editing good, direction good, whatever it is, but hampered by this completely muddled, confusing script. And well, to put it as I'll probably have to get. I don't want to get into spoilers at all, but it basically was kind of two scripts in one, and I
Oh,
felt
really?
they should, and one of the plot elements was, when you think about it, was ultimately the plot element that is effectively the cell. It's clumsy. It was super clumsy what they did with it. Um, it was not, it doesn't work in all that well, and I just they could have squared it a little better. So I don't want to spoil it because I'll basically say what it is. Like, I'm not spoiling the twist, but if I say what it is, it'll kind of spoil the story for it. So I don't want to say that. But basically, it could have either utilize this plot element better or cut it out entirely. And they
Right.
didn't use you didn't utilize the plot element at all well. I didn't mind the weirdness of the story. Like, it have all kind of weird bullshit moments in it that I didn't mind. Like, that's just more action stuff. Like, it have this one part that is absolutely ridiculous, but I didn't mind that because I just think kind of the fun of the movie. But I felt they could have done it. I mean, I really wanted you to see it so we could talk straight up spoilers. Um, but it just didn't do what it could have done. That is the sad part about it. And yeah, it's Cure for Wellness all over again. As in, you have up and coming star who real put
Mm-hmm.
in the 100%, 10%, because Chloe acting, she ass off in this. She real, like, clearly dedicated and like the project and whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, the script didn't work at all. The script, it's basically two scripts battling over each other, and you could tell it had a lot of like rewrites and manipulation. And I know it had like a lot of behind the scenes like drama with it because Max Landis wrote part of this, or I think originally wrote the script, but like they wanted to drum him out, but because he still had writing credits, they still had to give him that now. So like they tried to rewrite a good chunk of the script but without him, and so that's where I get the feeling that they muddle up the whole thing. That I can't say more other than that, other than just get into spoilers. Yeah, as I say, good logistically. It's a well-made film. Like that, there's a great opening sequence where he do the footsteps in time with the music, and it's like, yeah, that's something hard. It's like, and the coloring, I love all of the cinematography and the lighting, and it have that synth song, 80s synth song going on ever so often. You hear that. Good, some decent action sequences and little body horror moments. I was like, hey, that's not bad. This was good. That a good scene. But the movie needed to pick a lane. I never put it like that. If it pick a lane and go one direction or the other, or they could have squared the story. And I have my own Monday morning quarterback of what I would have done with it. But yeah, this movie did not work. Right? It's well made. I had a lot of
Sorry.
fun with it for what. But yeah, again, think of A Cure for Wellness and why A Cure for Wellness just fail hard. It not as big of a face plant as that, but still pretty bad for me. Yeah, I'm being generous, but yeah, 5 out of 10, and this is a generous thing, but
Mm-hmm.
because it just do come together, and mostly it gets points for just being well made in that sense. But the script was a mess. The script was a real mess. Didn't work at all. Didn't mix or gel together at all. It had again that plot element. If they utilize that plot element a little better and explain it a little better, it would have been fine. I'm sure I'd have people out there who will defend this movie, but yeah, this movie didn't work for me at all. Unfortunately, it's a shame. Really a shame.
All right, so 2021 in, and we already have a noble failure, but
Yeah, yeah, right. Right. I kind of put it in the camp of no failure a little bit, right? It just one or two tweaks to the script could really make it work. I get the feeling it's one of those behind the scenes. Hey, they should have done this. They should have done this instead of that, and reshoot that section, but they didn't want to do it. And they, like, I don't know if we could have fixed that because it was the way how it was shot and edited made it super confusing as well. It's like, wait, why this happening? So I get the feeling that they change a lot of stuff after the fact now, in midstream kind of thing, and that is why it come out the way it did. Similar to like Wonder
oh,
Woman. Similar to
mm-hmm.
Wonder Woman 1984, clearly a bunch of stuff they reshoot and try to like edit around because they wanted to cut stuff out for some reason or the other, but we'll never know why, or we'll find out like 5 years down the road and be like, oh, that is what happened. Okay, right, is that it? Is that kind of vibe? However,
All right.
that's how it
Well,
is. That's how it is. Yeah.
I don't know if I'll give it a look at all, just maybe out of curiosity. I mean,
I
it's
mean,
early in
yeah,
the year, so
yeah.
I
I mean,
mean, yeah, just so I could say I saw it and this is what I thought. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
right? Yeah, you will have some fun with it because again, it's well made. I'm not pulling from that. It's not like, I find somebody sound design and sound mixing and things like excellent. It for what it is. But I find they should have, if it wasn't for this plot element, it would have worked. Like if they left out the plot element and kept the story grounded, it would have worked. It would have been like, okay, this is just an interesting drama and them having to cross the Pacific Ocean, dodging Japanese thing. But then you bring this plot element into the storyline, and it's like, all right, well, you had to do something with that more than what you did with it, and it was just clumsy and just too kind of. It felt like two scripts battling each other in one movie. So yeah, that is my last take on it.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the review of that. Like I said, I will give it a look on my own time. Hopefully, it would be by year's end. But like I said, the year don't start, so I'll give it a look
Yeah.
at see if how much of a disappointment it was.
Right. Yeah.